Hello everybody, and welcome back to Sumatra on Bass. I hope everybody is keeping safe and well, and that you're staying healthy. While we've been at home, we've been getting a lot of practice in, so that's a good thing. I suppose when the gigs come back, we'll all be fully prepared to get out there and play again, which would be great. We've been missing that a lot. Today I wanted to cover off on a subject regarding custom builders and in support of custom builders, because I feel they're very important in the bass world. It was brought up really by some reviews of custom basses that we did, particularly the Alembic Stanley Clarke signature model. There was a lot of good feedback on that, especially about the filter systems and how they work and how the bass sounds. But there was one interesting comment from Ramon, who's not alone in thinking this, but he was just saying that you can talk long and short about it, they remain overpriced basses. The Fernandez Series 1 copy proves it really, and then goes on to add, the electronics aren't as good as the real deal, but it's scary close for the low price. Now, that was an 80s sort of copy bass of a Series 1 Alembic, in both the Mark King sort of shape and the Stanley Clarke sort of shape. They came with a power supply, stereo outputs, filter systems, sort of exotic woods, and as I remember at the time, the woodwork on them was quite good. The electronics was okay, it was pretty good standard, but not top of the range standard. And having played a few, because at the time we were very busy and working a lot, and we used to buy instruments all the time. I've checked them out, but didn't end up buying one for whatever reason. But to actually make this comparison, I don't know, Ramon, whether you bought your bass second hand or new. If you bought it second hand for, I don't know, whatever the price was, I've seen them go from $650 to a couple of $1,000, depending on who's selling and who's buying, whether they've still got the power supply and the cable for it and all that stuff. But you've got to remember, if we're buying the item new in 1980, we should then compare the price of the Alembic new in 1980 to get a comparison. So back then, going back to 1980 now, the FAB basses from Fernandez were at around, I think, the $1,600 to $1,800 mark. Certainly if I translate prices from their website, from 1980 catalogues, they're about there. And I think an Alembic Series 1 at the time was probably just around touch over $3,000 at the same time. So you go, well, that's a lot of a difference. Is Alembic ripping us off? Are they really having a lend of us at the moment, you know? But when you do a little bit of research, which we did, you start to notice beyond the aesthetic, the differences in the basses, and that is, you know, single truss rod against the dual truss rod, rosewood board against an ebony board, zebra wood, front and back on the FAB. That wasn't book matched in some cases it was, against any wood you want on the Alembic really. A silver heart core, which is like a soft maple, against the mahogany core. And Alembic used very high grade mahogany, it's very dense to produce what it does. And a maple neck with mahogany stringers, as opposed to a maple neck with purple heart stringers. So if I look at just the woods there, the woods in the Alembic are more expensive. You actually have more choice. You have choice of the shape, because the model you buy you can do in almost any shape that they have. And the electronics package you can put into almost any model, space permitting, right? So the reading through all of their marketing, especially on Master Hand, a lot of people took that to mean they were handmade and produced in small numbers and all that stuff. Now, when I read through in the advertising, none of these basses have the word Master Hand attached to them in the marketing. And you'd think if it was handmade, that's the first thing you would say about it. It's a handmade, Master Handmade, right? But reading the Master Hand blurb, they say you can have almost any model master hand, custom made, but there's a 20% uplift on the price, and then there's an uplift on all the options. So if I started to option up that base at from $1,600 or whatever, with dual truss rods, better woods, etc., etc., then I would, end up close to the price of the Alembic in any case. So this is just not saying that the Fernandez is a bad base. It's just comparing now apples with apples and saying if it was done exactly the same, this is what would happen, right? And to take it a little bit further, we did a bit of modeling on different scenarios. So a small boutique builder with 3 people, like the Michael Tobias type workshop, a larger boutique builder with 20 people, and a mass production factory with 300 people. And we kept the labour costs the same per head of personnel. But obviously the more people you need, the more space you need, the more rent you pay, the more electricity. We took into account that a small boutique builder will build less bases, let's say 50 a year, will probably use $100,000 investment in machinery and tooling. A larger boutique one might double that, 200,000 and more space. And a mass production unit, to achieve mass production, we're saying $2 million. So 10 times the cost of the large boutique. But the outputs, 50 from a small boutique, 150 from a large boutique builder with more people, and 10,000 from a mass production factory style thing. And then we end up with prices of, just based on cost now, 5,400, given that all things are equal, right? For the small boutique builder, 8,666 for a large boutique builder, because they have more overhead. And for mass production, 1,760. So which price appeals to you? I know if I could get a Series 1 base for 1,760, I'd probably be buying 5 of them right now, maybe more. But it just shows you the cost of doing business is different in different scenarios. So when we're saying a fully custom shop where you can pick anything you want, shape, woods, construction, laminates, all these things, electronics, LEDs on the neck, all that stuff, then they're not going to be as quick as a smaller boutique builder that has various options but within confinements, and they're not going to be anywhere near as good as a mass production factory. Now there's 2 things here that speak to me, and one is, let's just say we really could produce an Alembic base, which Susan Wickersham says we can't make them any cheaper. Now, 50 years later, at the exorbitant cost of building, people are still buying them, so they must see value in them. The other thing is that if somebody could do it cheaper, your competition would be in there so quick, because this is business, right? And they would basically price you out of the market. They would come in and do exactly the same thing, because it's not rocket science to copy the procedures and everything else of doing it. And you would be priced out of the market because your competition would be cheaper. Everyone would go there. You wouldn't sell anything. It makes sense, right? The other thing is the law of diminishing returns in business, which says as we go up that scale in quality and features, our price starts to exponentially go up. So at the top of that curve, where these custom builders live, to get that little incremental difference in quality or features, it costs you a lot more money than it does in the middle or the bottom of the curve. So this is intrinsic in almost every business. If I was, say, racing cars, and we had a really, really good car, but we really, really needed to get that lap time down by a quarter of a second, but we're already at the top of our game, right? This is where we have to spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to achieve that quarter of a second. Now you say, well, why would you do that for a quarter of a second? Because it could be the difference between coming first in a race and coming 4th or 5th in a race. That's the reason. So if you see the value in the custom build because it's custom built to your specification, not somebody else's idea of what you want. It's your idea of what you want. You're going to pay those premium prices. It's just a natural given thing, the way the business is. The other thing that Susan Wickersham said was in an interview, if people, we're not really a requirement in the industry, but when people no longer want these instruments, we'll simply stop making them. They kind of refused in the past to go offshore to get a cheaper labour rate to build things because they wanted them made in the USA, they wanted them made to their quality standard. And if I talk to my wood suppliers here locally, it's usually the guitar builders and furniture makers that get first look at all the woods that are imported, and they pick the ones they want, and then the public and everybody else gets the rest. So, because they buy a lot of them. And that wood selection process and all that, and storing of the wood and drying of the wood, takes time. It's you're paying somebody to do it, and that has the knowledge to select the right ones. If you talk to Michael Tobias, he'll talk about the tone woods, how they fit together to give you a particular tone, different combinations. He's had a lifetime to work this stuff out, so he knows what he's talking about. And that's the bit where they differ from mass production factories. In a mass production factory, it is a business designed to make money. The boutique builders also want to make money because everybody has to earn a living, but that's not their driver. Their main driver is they have a passion to put an instrument in your hands that you're going to pick it up, play, and you're going to go, wow, this is exactly what I wanted. Right? They just want to see that reaction. That's their first thing because they've built it. They want to see somebody enjoy it. And everyone that I've ever built with has had this trait. Their first thing is, hey, are you happy with this? How does it sound? Do you love the sound? Do you love the feel? Is there anything you don't like about it? And to all of them I say, no, it's perfect. It's exactly what I dreamed of and more. It's a fantastic instrument. So your Alembics, Federas, Scott Serenes, Michael Tobias's, F-basses, and everybody else in that game, to me, are very important because as soon as it's no longer possible to produce that level of quality because of costs, we're going to lose something very, very special. And then the only choice we will have is something that's off the rack, and at best a sort of a custom shop where we can choose a different top on it, a different colour, and a different fingerboard wood, and maybe different machine heads, different pickups, but the rest of it will stay the same. So that level of experimentation and mixing of woods will be gone forever, and that's going to be a sad day. So I'm a big supporter of custom builders. I wish I could afford instruments from all of them. I can't. I had to save long and hard to get the ones that I have, but I play them almost every day and I enjoy them immensely, and really that's what it's all about. If you pick up a Fender P-Bass and you go, hey man, that's my feel and my sound, and it only cost me $1,000, perfect. If you're happy with that, that's the main thing. The main thing is your happiness. If you're on the other end of the scale and you go, no, I really want it like this, I really want the neck to feel like that, I want that string width, I want those type of frets, those type of materials, these kind of pickups, that kind of wood combination in the body, because I just like the look of it. It doesn't really matter. It's not always about sound. That's what I want. So you'll pay for that. You'll pay more for it, but you're getting what you want. So in closing, I say if you can support boutique builders and you're that way inclined, please do, because they're an important part of our industry. I noticed that electric bass players were very price conscious. If you ask somebody that plays upright in an orchestra or violin and you say a $50,000 bass, they don't even bat an eyelid at that. They don't even bat an eyelid at $100,000 or $150,000 basses. Guitar players are always excited to have the latest and greatest guitar with a particular tremolo system and pickups, and they'll pay top dollar and they're really happy to play it. And I know guys that have gone and ordered custom Stratocasters with particular finishes and stainless steel fret wire and all these other goodies on them. They paid top dollar, but they're happy. Bass players, we're very clever. We're always trying to get value out of what we buy. So we'll buy a Squire and tweak it until we get more out of it than the thing is really even supposedly capable of. So we're very, very good at that. In any case, I hope you found this video interesting. We'll be back with a review on a PV amp soon as we can get my hands across it. And in the meantime, keep healthy, keep safe, stay well, keep making music, keep playing bass, be nice to each other. God bless. See you guys very, very soon.